Hi, everyone. So I'm going to go on and talk a little bit about what the communication age is. If you are watching this and you have not yet read chapter 1, go ahead and pause this video and go back and read the chapter and do the assignments in order to the module, or else this might not make as much sense to you as it should. So after the screencast, you should be able to tell me what is the communication age. What are the differences between digital immigrants and digital natives? How is convergence seen in communication today with all the technology we have? And what is communication? So first, I want to talk to you about the top 3 skills that employers look for. Over the last 10 years, every time they do this poll, number 1 always ends up being communication, followed by collaboration and critical thinking. So in this course, I'm going to make sure we hit on all 3 of these because when you graduate, I want you to have these 3 skills in your back pocket because that is what employers are looking for. I also mentioned earlier in my welcome video that communication is something that across disciplines is always important. For example, in education, it's important. This class in particular is actually not intended for communication majors because it's more looking at the different disciplines. One of the majors that most of the students that are in my class usually end up coming from is business. It is a requirement for the business school, and it really falls back on communication as a skill that employers are looking for in the business field. So what is communication? Communication is defined as the collaborative process of using messages to create and participate in social reality. The big keyword here is it's a collaborative process. To communicate, you need to have at least 2 people. If not, you're speaking and no one is comprehending. And those 2 pieces are necessary for communication. So why do we study communication? Why is this a class that's offered for gen eds? What is it going to help someone who's not a communication major? Well, first of all, one of the biggest benefits is it helps with a strong physical, emotional, psychological health and well-being. You guys all have amazing ideas in your head. What this class is going to help you do is to be able to share those ideas with others in a way that helps create a better community and a better world. We do talk in this class about communication between different cultures, relationships, whether it's a friend, family, significant other, and being able to communicate with those really contributes to emotional intelligence and just a healthier well-being. I mentioned that communication is one of the number 1 skills employers look for, so being able to demonstrate those skills is very valuable when you're looking for employment. Very strong influence on social relationships, promotes media literacy, and this is a big one, especially during an election year. I feel like media literacy becomes so important because we see all these articles, especially with the pandemic. You see new stuff on Facebook every day. However, we know that not all of that stuff is factual. So having a strong sense of communication and a strong media literacy helps you be able to figure out what is truth and what is false. And as always, communication is the foundation of a democratic citizenship. At SU, we put a big focus on civic engagement, making your community a better place. And strong communication skills is necessary to get those ideas out of your head and to put it into action. So when we talk about the communication age, that's referring to today. Today we live in an age where communication and technology and media converge in your everyday lives. So convergence, when we're talking about communication and the technology that we have, it refers to the many forms of mediated face-to-face communication and overlap with digital communication as well. For example, how many times have you been texting your best friend, but then you also tag them in something on Facebook? Or you're having a face-to-face conversation, but yet you're sending them an email so they don't forget. That's an example of convergence. We have 2 different forms of communication and they're overlapping. When we talk about digital natives and digital immigrants, this refers to was technology readily available and used in the household as they were growing up. So most college students today are considered digital natives because things like computer, video games, cell phones in the house existed when they were born and they were readily used in the house. Digital immigrants are people who, when they were born and when they were growing up, this technology wasn't available to them. So they've had to learn digital technologies later in life. Like I said, most college students today will fall into digital natives. I also think you can kind of be on the cusp. So, for example, when I grew up, my household didn't have a computer until probably I was in middle school. I didn't have a cell phone that could text until I was in college, just because those technologies were kind of new and they were expensive. So it wasn't something that we had readily available. However, my parents' generations are even more so digital immigrants because although I had access to a cell phone that could text when I was in college, they didn't have that luxury, that technology till late in their 40s. So that's kind of what divides between digital natives and digital immigrants. If someone is a digital immigrant, it doesn't mean that they can't use technology in their everyday life. It just means that they didn't have the skills at a young age, and so now they have to learn it. All right, that is all for this screencast, but go on and continue with the module.